You ever see a business that seems to be doing great, making sales, getting buzz, and then suddenly, bam, it's out of business? It's a puzzle, right? A real paradox. But the answer, and really the secret to who wins and who loses, it all comes down to one thing: how they make their big investment decisions. Let's pull back the curtain and look at their blueprint. And Robert Kiyosaki, from Rich Dad Poor Dad, he absolutely nailed it with this quote. It gets right to the heart of the problem. It's not just about what your spreadsheet says you've earned, it's about the actual cash you have in your hand to spend. And that difference, well, it isn't just a small detail, it's everything, which brings us to a huge question. Okay, so let's just put it right out there. If the accounting reports all say you're profitable, how in the world could you run out of money and go bankrupt? It just doesn't feel right, does it? Well, this is the exact puzzle that the most successful companies have figured out how to solve, and they do it using a very specific framework. And that framework, that secret weapon, is something called capital budgeting. It's the system that smart businesses use to avoid that whole profit trap. Think of it as a disciplined way of looking into the future to make sure the big, expensive bets they make are actually going to create value, not destroy it. So what the heck is it, really? Well, capital budgeting is just the whole process for deciding on major long-term investments. We're talking about the big stuff, like building a new factory, rolling out a brand new product, or buying some game-changing new tech. The key word here is long-term. These are decisions whose ripples will be felt for years and years. Now, don't let the chart fool you. This is actually a super logical journey. It all starts with an idea, right? But then, and this is the most important part, you have to evaluate the cash flows that idea will generate. Notice I said cash, not profit. Then you analyze everything and make the call. And finally, you pull the trigger and you watch it closely to see if you were right. It's a real discipline. All right, so now that we have the roadmap, let's get into the core principles that make it all work. And the first one, honestly, the most critical one, goes right back to that paradox we started with. It's all about training yourself to think in terms of actual hard cash, not just numbers on a page. Okay, so let's break this down. Think of it like this. Accounting profit. It's kind of like an opinion. It's an estimate that follows a bunch of accounting rules, and it can include things like a sale you made on credit or no actual money has shown up yet. Cash flow, on the other hand, is a fact. It's the real, objective, tangible money that's moving into and out of your bank account. No ambiguity. And this is exactly why that fact, that cash, is king. You can't pay your employees with an opinion. You can't pay back a bank loan with accounts receivable. You need cold, hard cash. It is the literal lifeblood of a business. And that's why every single investment decision has to be judged on one thing: how much real cash it's going to bring in. Okay, our second principle is a big one, and it's all about a psychological trap that gets even the smartest people. I like to call it the art of forgetting. The economists call it the sunk cost fallacy. So what is a sunk cost? It's exactly what it sounds like. It's money that's already been spent and it's gone. Poof, it's sunk to the bottom of the ocean. No matter what you do next, you can't get it back. So the big insight here is that because you can't get it back, it should have zero, absolutely zero influence on your future decisions. Let's make this super real with a classic example. You spent 7,000 won on a movie ticket. You're all excited, you get to the theater, you reach into your pocket, and it's gone. You lost it. Now, seeing this movie is worth about 10,000 won of happiness to you. So do you fork over another 7,000 won to buy a new one? A lot of people's gut reaction is, no way, I'm not paying 14,000 won for one movie. But that's your brain playing tricks on you. That's the sunk cost fallacy talking. The truly rational move is to completely forget about that first 7,000 won. It's gone. It's ancient history. The only decision that matters right now is this: is spending a new 7,000 won worth the 10,000 won of enjoyment you'll get? And of course it is. Getting hung up on past costs is a recipe for disaster in business and in life. All right, our third and final principle is all about developing some peripheral vision. A smart decision isn't made with tunnel vision, looking only at the project itself. No, you have to see all the ripple effects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, that this decision will have on the entire business. First, you've got to think about opportunity costs. Whenever you decide to invest $1 million into Project A, you're also deciding not to put that million into Project B or C or D. The potential profit you're giving up from that next best thing you could have done, that's a very real cost of your decision, and you have to include it in your calculations. You also have to be on the lookout for nasty side effects, what we sometimes call erosion or cannibalization. So, say you launch an amazing new product. Awesome. But what if half of its sales come from people who just stopped buying your older, still profitable product? Well, that lost cash flow from the old product is a direct cost of the new one. You absolutely have to count it. Okay, so let's tie this all together. What have we learned? We've seen that you have to focus on real cash, not just profit. You have to learn to forget about sunk costs. And you have to see the whole big picture, including all the side effects. When you put these principles together, you get a seriously powerful way to make winning decisions. And look, this isn't just some textbook theory for a CFO and a skyscraper. Capital budgeting is really a mindset. It's a way of thinking that forces you to ignore all the noise from the past and focus like a laser on what actually builds value. And what is that? It's simple. Future, incremental, after-tax cash flows. That's the mantra. So, I'm going to leave you with one final thought to chew on. The next time you face a big decision, could be buying a house, starting a business, anything, just ask yourself this one question. What do I need to forget? What past investment of time or money do I need to just let go of so I can see the future clearly?